as we're going about our human experience here on Earth, we start to learn how much we can actually tolerate. As we experience more and more of what we can tolerate and what we can't, that's when we start to draw the line between boundaries. Now, imagine the selenite. When you're younger, things that come and bother you, like a relationship or someone does something or yells at you, maybe a roommate that sucks. I've had them, and especially ones that don't respect boundaries. So when they eventually keep poking at you, you react and you respond to things. Sometimes you don't really know how to create the verbiage on setting a boundary. I didn't for a long time, especially when I had unhealthy roommates who were way older than me. And one of them was like 30 years older than me in a house. They couldn't respect my space when I told them, no, I don't even like communicating with you. I need you to like stay out of my space. They wouldn't do that. Eventually, I just stopped talking to them. I started ignoring them, like literally ignoring them, because I could not handle it anymore. And my landlords didn't want to do anything about it. They actually told me not to complain about this person and let them be. And they just said that they're just going to be the way they are because that's who they are. So see, I was already in a unfavorable amount of tolerance because my landlords weren't taking care of the situation, and I was in an environment that was toxic. So kept pressing and pressing. My reaction was I had no other reaction. And all I had to do was set boundaries with this person. And now as I've experienced this horrific, toxic environment, I now know how to set boundaries. And it took me a while for me to set boundaries with this person. This person also harassed me over a maid. Her lifestyle is to have a maid clean up after her, and she does not clean. This is somebody who won't clean up after themselves. They've never picked up the vacuum once and vacuumed the common areas. Nothing like that, right? So this person kept asking me to chip in every month for a maid after I said, no, this is your lifestyle. And then because I wouldn't chip in, they started asking me to clean more. And they asked me to chip in on their maid that was cleaning her room and her boyfriend's room, which is funny that she didn't even actually think about splitting the bill had I decided to chip in, just because the common areas are being taken care of. She thought I would pay another portion of her bill. She thought she could swindle me into that. So eventually I drew a line in the sand. It was an over text conversation with me and my landlords, and I told her, I feel harassed over this. You've asked me nonstop for months, and I have emails after me telling you I will not pay for a maid. This is not my lifestyle. I have emails from you still asking me to pay for the maid after I've told you no, I will not. Like, this person thought she could just keep breaking me down until eventually I gave up. This is somebody who I can see why people probably avoided setting boundaries with her or giving her the opportunity to grow, because she's unpleasant. She was unpleasant for me to the point where I didn't know what to do. And all I had to do was just set a boundary. Hey, I feel pressured. I feel harassed. I feel you're not understanding what a no means. And I would like you to stop because I'm not doing this. And I want you to stop. That's setting a boundary. Because the moment in that text message conversation, that last time, it was in a text she asked me in front of the whole group. And I'm like, no. And I feel harassed over this. And then she finally said, I'll stop. Sometimes you got to use big words that may feel mean and rude, except it's the truth. It's how you feel. It's how I felt. And I let it go on for months. And I tried all sorts of methods, and I avoided the one thing that was just expressing my voice. And before, a couple times, I would get really triggered and I'd be like, no, I've already told you no. Why do you keep asking, right? So that's what it means. It's like this is your reaction when you get like triggered. You're just like, no. Like, I told you no. Like, what are you not getting? Like, you react in not a very responsive way. They're reacting over responding, which responding would be like, hey, let's set a boundary here. Except now, what ends up happening is, as you gain more experience, as that trigger pokes you, right? Little poke. You're kind of you're allowing yourself to feel the discomfort. You're like, what is this teaching me? Because as you experience life, you will start to learn that everything is teaching you a lesson. And the lesson for me was to learn how to set boundaries. This person had a lot of covert narcissistic traits, and the only way to deal with them is to set boundaries. This person would also tell me she would spend time thinking of ways to get her way and how she could communicate things so she can have what she wants in certain ways of the house and get me to do things. And I'm like, you're really spending that much time? I didn't say that, because I was told not to engage as much as possible, let her be. And I thought that was correct, because I didn't want to cause any havoc. I didn't want to cause any trouble. I wanted to be a people pleaser. So don't fall into this trap. Your needs and your voice are so very important to be heard. And all you have to do is find a respectful way to go ahead and convey that message. And when it's setting boundaries, it's always, I feel this, because you're taking power over your emotions. You're not saying, you make me feel this way, because if somebody makes you feel a certain way, you're giving them power over your emotions. I feel this, and spend some time thinking about what you're feeling. When you do this, putting the responsibility on them. This is your action. This is your behavior. And I want this to happen in order for us to have a better relationship. Incremental adjustment to each other. That's the call to action. That's how you set proper boundaries. And that's what I learned. And if anybody ever disrespects that or they react in some kind of way, it's on them. Whatever the reaction is after you've expressed your needs in a polite, respectful manner, their reaction, or maybe they have a respectful response, is on them. You have no control over that outcome. And if they agree to your boundary, you get to reinforce it. I always do it too. That looks like 3, but I always reinforce my boundaries twice. Hey, do you remember this conversation that we had that you had agreed to? Oh yeah, I remember it. Are you sure you can still stick to that? Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and give it a whirl. I'm glad I was able to readdress that with you, because sometimes people forget. It's a habit. Sometimes things that people do is just a habitual habit that they forget about. And then this person clearly was disrespecting me. She was trying to get her way. She was trying to manipulate by consistently going at it, even after she got a no. And I never set a boundary, though. I never said what I want out of it. I never said how I felt when she does this. I never made her see a reflection of who she is being. That's denying someone an opportunity to grow. That's why it's so important to set healthy boundaries. Now, again, if it happens one more time, you just address it. Hey, are you sure you can change this about yourself? If this is ingrained in who you are, I totally understand. I don't want you to change who you are. I want to have an incremental, healthy relationship with you if you're open to that. And if you're not, that's okay. Hey, this is where you now get to decide, not them, like you, as in you setting the boundary. Is this relationship still viable for you? Or is it time to move on? Are you going to allow yourself to keep being disrespected, or is it time to end the relationship because it served its purpose, teaching you how to set proper boundaries? Now, the next relationship, friendship, or romantic one is going to be much better because now you're stronger in your frame. So I highly recommend it, because I know in the past I would bottle up and suppress these angry feelings that I wasn't able to express. And it just wasn't healthy for me, because it's like I just felt like I was in my own prison of feelings. And I'm watching Ozark again. I'm on season 3, I think, right now. I just started it. And this is when Wendy's brother comes back in to this, or he actually just comes into the season. And the beginning of the episode, he's a substitute teacher. And any spoilers, sorry, I would stop watching right now. He's a substitute teacher, and then somebody texts that the kids keep texting to each other, and then eventually one text has a picture of one of the girls that's probably embarrassing or something. And he looks at it, and then he's sick and tired of people texting and disrupting the class. So he grabs all their phones, puts them in the trash, and then he goes outside to where there's like freaking wood shredder, like somebody's like shredding wood, and he just shoves all their phones in there. And the guy's like, hey, what are you doing? And he just starts attacking the guy that's shredding the tree branches, right? For no reason, because he's so angry. And on his way there, he's like, man, these kids are emotional terrorists. They don't care. Like, they're so disrespectful. Like, and you know what? It grinds my gears to see people who are in their 50s or 60s treat me the way I've been treated, treat others the way I've been treated. And I bet you anything, they were not given a respectful way to grow. And that comes with setting boundaries with people. Even if it was on purpose, even if I had set proper boundaries with her and she still kept acting the way she did, maybe she just is a full-on narcissist, and that's okay. That would help me realize it a lot sooner. But sometimes we're afraid to set boundaries with people because we're afraid of the outcome, to find out who they really are. Do they really care about us? There's this fear of like, are we going to be respected, or are we going to have to make new arrangements within our friendship or living situation? So give people the opportunity, most importantly, give yourself the opportunity to honor your voice, express your needs, and let go of that fear. Because the more you do that, the more you're going to be free in your life, and you're going to have healthy people in your life who respect you. The only way to do that is if you take that step and allow your voice to be heard. All right, so I challenge you, spend some time if you're in a difficult situation, articulate how you feel, find out how you feel, find out what behaviors this person is doing, and then express to them what they're doing and how you feel when this happens. And then create the call to action. I want this to stop. Can you do this? Are you capable of this? Or is this a part of who you really are? Super simple. Have an alchemizing day and namaste.